Stop honking at the Cedar Park football horn. I'm the V of the T, Brad Cohn. This is our 13th show of the season, 167th show overall in 12-plus seasons spread out over 14 years now in 8 venues. We're at Taco Palenque, just west of the intersection of Cypress Creek Road and La Caline. We'll be on the air here until about 8 or so, perhaps. Come on down and join us. Get some great Mexican food while you're at it. With me tonight, from the Ohio University, the man from Athens, Ohio, twirling the knobs and shifting the levers that control the fire fountains and the big green head, keeping our ship from hitting an iceberg, the chief engineer of this enterprise, Cecil Drinks a Coke an Hour.
And they're delicious. Thanks, Brad. Great to be here. I'm really looking forward to going over this game from Friday since I wasn't there. I was able to watch a bit of it, but not all of it. But man, these pretty amazing numbers in there.
They really are. We'll go over a lot of those for you here in a little bit. Shane Shulwinski, our quality assurance agent tonight, closely and diligently monitoring the broadcast from that super secret, high-tech, low-maintenance, ultra-modern, technically advanced, stealthily cloaked pinnacle of online broadcast technology and bulwark of artificial intelligence that is the Vype Studios, making sure that we don't sound like a donkey with emphysema. Our guest tonight may or may not be here. They are selected members, allegedly, of the women's basketball team and their head coach, J.C. Morton. We would have them on at the top of the hour if they were actually here. We're actually underway, and they have not shown up. I did not get an acknowledging reply from 2 messages I sent Coach Monday and today. So I have a feeling somehow this slipped through the cracks, and we won't get to talk to a very good women's basketball program and our first-year coach. But we'll see. Maybe they'll walk in as we get going. This year's Booster Club sponsors are Taco Palenque, this place right here, Move Smart Pros, Raising Canes, Army Ant Moving, You Pack, We Plan, Leander Veterinary Clinic, Natalie's Donuts, just off to my right here about 120 feet, Clint Horman's All City Real Estate, Smooth Operator RN, is that the old Sade song?
The Smooth Operator. Yeah, that was a jam.
RN, Smooth Operator.
That was a jam.
RN. Strive Health Services, Tex US Realty, Bush's Chicken, Dr. Mo and the ChiroFit Wellness Center. Cecil's a customer, as is your son, right?
Yes, yeah, we both go there regularly.
Cool.
Weekly.
Also CPYFA, CTX Sports, Glow Gal Salon, and Sensi independent consultant Lindsay Bates, who's also an official team photographer. Cedar Park Football thanks all of these local businesses for their generosity. Here's what's on the menu for tonight's show. Of course, one of those items we may have to drop off. Our latest State of the Program all-time one-loss record update. A look at last Friday night's first-round playoff win over Tyler. A glance at that game's effect on our record book with specific emphasis on the flurry of records set by Trey Hill Friday night. A review of other scores in any upcoming games for other 8-5A teams. We'll look at how former players and coaches did last week. I'll have some thoughts about Veterans Day, which was last week. And then we'll bring on tonight's guests, if they're here by then, about the top of the hour, the women's basketball team. If not, we'll just go on through. We've got another fun trivia game, a new one that we're going to play with them if they're here. If not, no dice. And finally, a preview of our second-round playoff game coming up Friday night in Waco against the Frisco Wakeland Wolverines. But we'll start out the evening, as always, with a trivia question for Cecil. In the WNBA, on Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever team, who is considered the enforcer?
The enforcer.
The enforcer.
Yeah, I got this one all day, Brad. That is Sophie Cunningham.
It is Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah, she is. She's pretty bad. That isn't good.
And you can take bad off that sentence, too. She's pretty.
Yeah.
She's making a lot of commercials right now. And, I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, it's a WNBA player?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got in trouble. Awesome. Fined several $1,000s for punching out an opponent who poked Caitlin Clark, her teammate, in the eye.
Yeah.
I'm saying, more power to you, Sophie.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
That's what you do. All right, here's Cecil with our State of the Program update.
All right. A couple of things have changed in here, Brad. Our all-time overall record now stands at 235 wins to 96 losses.
I'm going to sure regret it when we have to put 100 in the loss column.
Right? All-time overall record counting playoff opponents is 96-51.
That's pretty impressive.
Still a very good win percentage there.
That's almost 2 out of every 3.
Yeah. Our all-time home record sits at 110 wins to 36 losses.
And that includes back at when New Bible was our home for 1 year in 09, and when Old Bible was our home from 99 through 08. It includes all those, too.
Spectacular. Our all-time record at Gupton sits at 78 wins and 15 losses.
That is really good.
Hey, man, we protect that house. All-time record in LISD's 3 newest stadiums is 97-22.
So that's us, New Bible, and Vandy Stadium. That's almost 10 out of every 12.
Yeah, that's great. Our all-time record in all 4 LISD stadiums, 129 and 42 losses.
So that's 13 out of every 17, and that's all of what we just talked about, plus add in Old Bible. That's pretty amazing.
Our all-time record in November sits at 59-20. So do pretty well in the month of November. And our all-time playoff record is now 46 wins and 19 losses.
I would love to figure out some way to do the research to find out what high school in Texas has a better record than 46-19 in postseason play.
Yeah, you're hard-pressed to find one, I'm sure.
I think we would be. All right, now a review of the 50-43 playoff win over the Tyler Lions. And the first thing I want to point out, there were no touchdown kickoff returns.
That's a beautiful thing.
Oh, my God, that had been such a problem. Here are the stats from that game. 20 first downs for us, 21 for them. We got out first down one of the few times this year. For us on the ground, try to assimilate this. 43 carries by the team for 503 yards, an 11.7 yard per carry for the team.
Man.
Holy cow.
Those are just chunks.
Cooper through the air, 8 for 14 for only 83 yards, broke a long string of 100-plus yard passing game. 57.14 completion percentage, only 5.93 yards per attempt. All those are season lows. Tyler went 30 rushes for 289 yards, not very good defensively, for a 9.63 yards per carry average. Through the air, they went 18 for 27, no picks, 263 yards. Right at 2 out of every 3, 9.74 yards per attempt, much better than ours. So the total offense, 586 to 552.
How many first downs were there in this game?
Total 41.
41 first downs, wow.
Here's the score by quarter. Cedar Park in the first, 14-7. Tyler in the second, 16-0. That's what made this game close. We outscored them by 3 touchdowns outside of the second quarter. 14-13 in the third, 22-7 in the fourth. This is one of the few games in Cedar Park history where we trailed at halftime and we trailed going into the fourth quarter, and we didn't lose. Yeah. We rarely win when both of those happen in the same game. I think it's like now that's the second time out of it happening, like 23 times behind it, both those. Now, one of the things about their passing numbers I'd like to look at, we were talking about this before we went on the air. Caden Granberry, their quarterback, threw no incomplete passes in the first half. They erroneously called one an incomplete pass that was a backwards pitch lateral on an outside option play.
What was up with that? That was terrible.
They called it an incomplete pass.
It was absurd.
Yes,
it was absurd. Totally absurd because that was a lateral pass.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
It was fumbled. It was blatantly obvious.
Wasn't even close. I did something I rarely do when I was an announcer, and that they doing that, and they took a couple of minutes to get that straight, and they come back to the line like it was an incomplete pass. I came on, and in this tone of voice exactly, I said to the stadium, well, they're calling that last play an incomplete pass.
The whole stadium heard it.
That.
And that's when that crowd let them know it.
They incredibly booed that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, in my stats, I'm not even calling that an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So he went 17 for his first 17, all the way to about 5.5 left in the third quarter. Didn't throw an incomplete pass. He went 17 for his first 17 for 241 yards and 3 touchdowns. After that, he went 2 for 11 for 22 yards in the rest of the third quarter and all of the fourth.
Fell off the table.
And we noticed that while he was on his completions and yardage and touchdowns run, no pressure ever plenty of time, and that short stack guy is only 5'6". He was able to find people. I don't know how he's seen over the 6'5" linesman and D linesman, but he was. Especially seeing people in our empty middle in the coverage. And I don't know how it was happening. But at the point where he started failing passing-wise, he was running for his life.
Yeah, finally getting pressure.
We had some pressure. He was running, scrambling, getting hit when he threw it, and the inaccuracy showed in those conditions.
That's what happens when
what
you.
we got to do.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get back there and just disrupt things and push them off their spot.
Yeah.
Forces errors.
They had one guy, their leading rusher on the year, Kadarius Miller. I think he had 800 and change coming into the game. He had 9 for 188.
Oh, goodness.
20.9 average. Most of that actually came in the first half, where he had 7 carries for 73 yards. I guess it wasn't most of it. He only had 2 carries in the second half. Why?
Why are you not feeding
Because
that
both
beast?
of them were touchdown runs, 75 yards and 40 yards. Why did he only have those 2 carries in the second half? Had 15 yards on 2 carries and 2 touchdowns in the second half. Why did they not give him the ball more?
That sounds like a damn coaching mistake, but
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Instead, they gave it to Ashton Arriaga through the second half, who had 10 carries for 34 yards. What were they thinking?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm glad they thought it.
Maybe he did something, and they were like, "No, you sit."
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe he. Yeah, maybe he mouthed off. Their number one receiver, Trey Harrelson, mouthed off and got sat down in the first half after a 10-yard touchdown catch. And he did come back and catch 5 more for 150 more yards and another touchdown, the 46-yarder that was the last good throw that Granbury tossed in the second half. So they had some individual performances. The 6 catches for 125 and 2 scores by Harrelson was amongst the best against Cedar Park. Granbury's 18 for 27 for 263 and 3 scores and no picks, 9.74 yards per attempt. One of the best we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Miller's 188 yards rushing on 9 carries and 2 touchdowns at a 20.9 average is the best we've seen this year.
Jeez.
Those things hurt.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Those are big chunk yardage.
On the other hand, we've got this player number 21.
Yeah, tell me about that guy.
That guy's pretty good.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
Too bad he's a senior. Listen to these numbers. Write them down. 31 carries, 374 yards. A 12.1 average. Touchdown runs of 7, 29, 60, 66, and 78 yards. Let me spot.
They had
Go ahead.
they had no answer for Trey.
They had no answer for Trey. If I look at just his 5 touchdown runs, that accounts for 240 of his 374, average of 48 yards per carry on his 5 touchdown runs.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And me after the game. So, folks, I was telling Cecil this. Brad and Craig and I were leaving the stadium at the same time. We go down, and there's some cameras and people talking, and the press is talking to Trey. And let's go down and watch this. So we go down there. About the time we get within 10, 12 feet of him, that's kind of ending, and they're walking away. And I put my bag down, went up to Trey, and grabbed him across the middle, kind of lifted him for a second off his feet, and kind of took him back a little bit, and turned around and bragged about being the only person to stop Trey Hill all night long. And that was true.
It's true.
That was true. 12.1 yards a carry, a flurry of records broken that we'll get to in a minute. Cooper goes 8 for 14, but for only 83 yards. He started 1 for his first 5 for 2 yards. Didn't have a good significant completion until the second quarter. So
took him a little while to get started.
Yeah. Jamal Porter, our leading receiver, an off night, 3 catches, which ties for the team lead in the game. A game we did not complete a lot of passes. But his yardage, 0 on the 3 catches. Caught 1 for 0, 1 for 2, and 1 for -2. Jonah Johnson had 3 for 46, and they were important. I think every one of them got us a first down. Braden Johns got 2 for 17. So those were our numbers. It was 1,138 yards of total offense between the two teams. 13 offensive touchdowns.
That's crazy. That's wild numbers, man. That's basketball scores and no defense.
I know. And we kept going for 2. We were 5 for 5 going for 2 last week. or the week before, and then this week or last week, however you want to call it, against Tyler, we also went for it 5 times, only made 3 of them, but still,
yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, 16 points, going 8 for 10 on 2-point conversions.
That's a good average.
I'll take that.
I keep doing it. It's working.
On the bad side of that, those 2 misses are 67% of our failed 2-point conversions all year. We'd only missed it once before all year. But still, it's a good tactic. I like it. Remember when Carl Absack would get a touchdown, go for 2, then onside
kick it? Yeah. Yeah. Diabolical, that man.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, now look at that game's effect on our school record book. All right, take notes, everybody. This is the program's 331st game. We're getting close to a third of 1,000 games, 65 of which have been playoff games. That's 19.6%, almost 1 out of every 5 of the games we have ever played being a playoff game.
That's wild.
I wonder how many schools can say that. This is the 12th Cedar Park home playoff game. Records 10-2. Program is now 46-19 in playoff games, 15-5 in first-round playoff games. So we've only gone one and done 5 times in a quarter of a century.
Yeah, not bad.
And 78-15 overall at the GUP. Cecil gave you some of those numbers earlier. Tyler joins a list of now 52 opponents through these quarter of a century of football that Cedar Park has never lost to. We're undefeated against 52 of the programs that have played us.
That's awesome.
Okay, now first...
See that number grow.
Yeah, let's do that. First, the bad stuff, though, like we usually do. We have to face the bad stuff. The 552 yards of total offense allowed Tyler the 7th most ever allowed by any Cedar Park defense and the most ever allowed in a win.
Yeah. That's, you usually don't win when you allow that much yards.
You usually don't. The 289 rushing yards allowed Tyler are the 21st most ever in one game. Remember, 331 games. The 199 rushing yards allowed Kadarius McMiller were the 16th most ever allowed to an individual. McMiller had only, I punched the wrong number, that's 188 yards. 16th most ever allowed to an individual. McMiller had only 2 carries in the second half, and they're both touchdowns. We talked about that. This made his 115 second half yards the 5th most ever allowed in one half to one person. And it was only on 2 carries. The 263 passing yards allowed Caden Granberry were the most this season. The 124 receiving yards allowed Trey Harrelson were the 2nd most this season. The 200, and he was hurt for a lot of the first half. This 2025 team has now given up exactly the same number of points, 358, as last year's team, which also played 11 games. So their 32.5 average points allowed, both teams now, is the worst in program history. The 75-yard touchdown run by Kadarius McMiller in the third quarter was the 11th longest run ever allowed by a Cedar Park defense. The combined 95 points surrendered in the last 2 games are the most the program has ever allowed in consecutive games. I mean, these are kind of embarrassing numbers.
Yeah,
so you got to acknowledge them.
Yeah, it happened.
All right, but we're done with that. Now the good stuff. Trey Hill blew away a lot of personal, season, and career records, and we're going to details in a few minutes. But here are the superlatives from this game that did not involve Hill. David Cooper surpassed the 4,000 career passing yards mark and the 300 career completions mark, now with 4,053 and 307, respectively. He's now just 122 yards short of 2,000 for the season.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, he's having a good year.
Great.
Cooper's 75-yard touchdown run in the third quarter, pulling away from swift-footed defensive backs while he was doing it. That ties 33 other games, including including 4 from this year, for 4th most ever in one game. The team's 7 rushing touchdowns ties 10 other games for the 3rd most Now, that's a braggy stat when you sit down and think about that. The teams get 7 rushing touchdowns, an unbelievably high number, and it ties 10 other times that we've done that at the 3rd most we've ever done all time.
Man.
That is really something. This is why I like looking at these records. really gives you an appreciation for stuff.
That's amazing, man.
The 13 rushing touchdowns that we've scored in consecutive games, 6 against Georgetown, 7 against Tyler, are just the second most in program history in consecutive games. Wow. That's impressive, too. The 586 yards of team total offense are the 8th most in team history, and the second most this season. We had 600 exactly against Glenn. The 359 yards of total offense in the second half are the most this season, and the 14th most in one half in Cedar Park history. 359 and a half. The 503 team rushing yards. Another unbelievably high number, and yet it's still only the 3rd most ever. Wow. All of the top 5 team rushing yards totals have come in bi-district playoff games. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And this is the most this season, too. I thought about that. I think what that might amount to is the coaches in the playoffs don't mess around. They know running is the thing we do well.
Yeah.
Let's keep it simple and run the ball at them. And it's worked to get us to that kind of a record. All 5 top team rushing yard totals in a game have come in bi-district playoff games. In round 1, yeah. The 920 team rushing yards over consecutive games, Georgetown and Tyler, is the most ever in program history.
Wow.
920
in 2 games.
In 2 games.
That's silly.
The 485 points scored so far this season is only 8th most in Cedar Park history. Of course, the only teams that have scored more than this team all played between 2 and 5 more games than this team has played. This team has already outscored previous Cedar Park teams that played more games than this one. I forgot to put the number in there. 6 previous Cedar Park teams that played more games than this one have been outscored by this team. This team's average of 44.1 points per game is 3rd best all time. The only teams that have outscored these guys both went all the way to their state championship games to do that. 15 team and the 20 team. 15 won it. Those are the only teams that outscore this one, or on average. The 86-yard touchdown drive in the 4th quarter was the 119th drive of 80 or more yards in Cedar Park history.
Oh, wow. That's 119 of those,
times. Huh? And that one, 86. Wow. The 72-yard drive that ended the first half when time ran out, we could have had another touchdown there. You know, you had that one and you add Trey's that they stopped. It could have been pushing 70. That 72-yard drive at the end of the first half when time ran out was the 11th longest non-scoring drive in program history. That's hard to imagine, too. 11 times we've gone farther than 72 yards and not scored.
Wow. That's a cool stat right there.
All right, now let's look at Trey Hill's presence in the Cedar Park record book. Sit down and buckle your seatbelts. All right, most rushing yards in a game. He's at the top now with that 374 against Tyler. He's also at number 11 in the last game, 246 against Georgetown. So 2 of the top 11 are these last two games of all rushers, most rushing yards in a game at Cedar Park. He is also at number 19, another performance from this year. Against Lake Belton, he had 229. So 3 of the top 19 are this year. He's also at number 22 with 220 against Chaparral this year. So 4 of the top 22, almost a quarter of them. Well, I guess it's a fifth of them. 23, he is at 23 as well, twice. He had 218 twice, once against Leander in 23 and once against Hendrickson in 23. So now what are we looking at? 7 of the top 23? That's almost a third of the top 23 individual rushing performances in school history. That's
a dominant performance this year.
Holy moly. He's also at 26 with 211 against Huntsville just this year. He's at 28 with 206 against Eastview this year in a game we somehow lost. We're still groaning over that one. He's also at 31 with 202 against Leander just a few weeks ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the top 31. Almost, well, more than, a quarter, but less than a third.
Yeah.
I got that wrong.
Right there.
Of the 31, 9 of the top 31 single-game rushing performances.
That's significant, man. That's I mean,
at a school that has rushed a lot of guys for a lot of yards.
They really have.
Yeah,
they really
this
have.
Isn't Aikens.
And he's making his name known for sure.
He's also in a couple other subcategories. Most 300-plus rushing games. Well, he's tied with Diedrich McKnight, the only other guy who's ever done it, who had the old record of 301 in a first-round playoff game in Houston in 2008. He had 301 against Cypress Creek. Trey with his 374 against Tyler. Now the second guy at Cedar Park to ever have a 300-plus game. He's also on top of the most 200-plus games with all those this year. He passed Quentin Smith, a record Quentin had, many of his that I thought would never be broken. He's now got 9, Trey does. Quentin at 7, Brian Hogan at 4, Corey Washington at 4, Tyler Smith at 3, Diedrich at 2, Hunter Dixon at 2, Rupert Edwards at 2.
That's 7 this season, right?
7 this season. Yeah, and that's all in the last 9 games. 7 in the last 9 games.
Yeah.
Getting better with every game. He's also near the top of the most 150-plus games. Quentin's got 13 of those. Trey's got 12. So we can get 150 puts in this next game. You can tie Quentin for the lead there, too. All right, most 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Quentin's at the top with 3. Trey can't beat that because he had that off year last year where he was injured half the year. So he's got 2. He's tied at 2 with Brian Hogan, Tyler Smith, and Rupert Edwards. Most rushing yards in a season. He's in 2 positions in the top 10 for that, too. The same 2 positions, number 1 and number 10. Number 1 this year, 2,077. And he's at number 10 with his sophomore year, 23. He had 1,337. Then we look at most rushing yards in a career. It's not undoable, but we might have to play 2 games. He jumped all the way to 4,111, becoming only the second running back at Cedar Park ever to cross the 4,000 rushing yards plateau. He is behind Quentin Smith by, 334 yards? He gets another 374, but this is a good defense this week. He can pass that. So we might need 2 games.
It's going to be tough to do that getting deeper into the playoffs.
Quentin's record is 4,445. All right, most yards rushing in 1 quarter. He is at 6, 7, and 8 on that list. And just the last week with 118 against Tyler in a quarter. He had 113 against Lake Belton this year. That's at number 7. And number 8, he had 109 against Eastview in 23 as a sophomore. So he's at 6, 7, 8 for most rushing yards in a quarter. Most rushing attempts in a career. He's at number 1 with 671. And he's just stripping the lead out on Rupert Edwards, who played 3 years as well, but never missed a game. Well, Trey's missed half of one of his seasons. He's got 671. Rupert Edwards is next at 606.
He's a workhorse, man. He's giving 30 carries a game.
Yeah, and a lot of it's between the
tackles. Yeah.
Most rushing attempts in a season. Edwards has 320 in 2004 in 14 games. Trey's got 283, so 37 more. He ties that in 12 games. He's got 263 this year. Oh, yeah, I was looking at the wrong year. So he needs 57 more to tie Edwards at the top of that category. He's got 263 this year in 11 games. So he's at number 2 and number 3 in most rushing attempts in a season. Most rushing attempts in a game. He had 33 against Hendrickson in 23. That's number 4 on the list. He's also number 6 with 31 last week against Tyler, 31 the week before against Georgetown. And he's also at number 7 with 30 against Lake Belton this year and 30 against Georgetown in 23. So 5 times he appears on the list of the top 7 most rushing attempts in a game. Tied with himself twice. Oh, whoa, I didn't say. This spanned pages. 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the top 10. Tied with himself also at 9th. 27 carries against Huntsville this year, 27 against A&M Consolidated in 23, but we want to forget that game, and 26 against Leander in 2010. So, yeah, like you said, a workhorse.
Yeah.
Highest yard per game average in a season. He's number 4 there with a very respectable 188.8 this year. The next guy closest to him, number 5, Diedrich McKnight in 08, 152.0. So 36, almost 37 yards per game greater than the next guy underneath him. Is he going to catch the guy ahead of him? It's only one guy. He's got all three of them. Both of them are over 190 a game. Quentin Smith, 190.4, 193.7, 195.6 at the top. It might be uncatchable.
Yeah, that's tough.
Highest yard per game average in a career. This is uncatchable, too. Quentin at 193.3. You got to remember, he played basically almost every game that he played. He played the first half and the first possession of the second half, and he averaged 193.3.
Yeah, that was all he needed. Wow.
That's like a guy who's running like he's going to run for 400 yards every game.
Yeah.
Trey is at 152.3 on his average per game for his career. He's also 11th in the highest yards per carry average for a season, 7.90 here in 25. 17th in highest yards per carry average for a career, 6.13. 19th in highest yards per carry average per game with 12.4 against Rouse last year. Some other aspects of his superlative production against Tyler last week. We may have, in reviewing the game, touched on some of these before, but let me read through them. The Tyler game was the 9th time Hill has rushed for 200-plus yards in his career, the 7th time he's done that this season, the 4th game in a row. In just these, here's one I didn't say yet. In just these last 4 games, he's rushed for 1,051 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Over 4 games.
Over 4 games.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
How many backs in Texas haven't done that this year?
I mean, those are unheard of numbers, man.
How many backs in America have done that this year?
Yeah, not many. One hand.
Trey becomes the first Timberwolf ever to rush for over 2,000 yards in one season. He now has 2,077. Over half of his rushing yardage for the entire season has come in the last 4 games. Unbelievable. In the first quarter alone against Tyler, he jumped from 4th to 1st on the list of most rushing yards in a season, passing totals by Rupert Edwards, Quentin Smith, and Corey Washington. Previously, with 3,737 career rushing yards, Trey's total from this game equates to 1/10 of his career rushing yardage. He now has got 41-11, 334 yards besides Quentin at the top. He ties a career high by scoring 5 touchdowns. 3rd time he's done that this season. 5th time he's done it in his career. 25 touchdowns in 5 games.
That's crazy. That's.
Folks, this sounds like we're lying.
We seen it. We seen it with our own eyes.
Yeah, it's on film. Hill passes Quentin Smith for the lead in career rushing touchdowns with 59. Quentin had that record so high above everybody for years. That was one I thought would never be broken at 57. He's passed that one now with 59. When assimilating these next 3 items, consider that these are measured against over 12,000 carries in school history. So 9th, 16th, and 18th are all pretty damn good.
Yeah.
His 78-yard touchdown run in the 3rd quarter was the 9th longest run in Cedar Park history, out of over 12,000 runs.
Yeah.
His 66-yard touchdown run in the 1st quarter was the 16th longest run in Cedar Park history. His 60-yard touchdown run in the 3rd quarter, 18th longest run in Cedar Park history out of 12,000 carries.
Wow. Just impressive. I mean, you can't say enough about this kid. I mean, if there's schools out there right now, they need to offer this kid because he should be able to go wherever he wants to. Numbers like this, I mean, to me, he's the best in the state right now.
He might be the best in the country. We haven't seen them all, but you really have to impress me with some better numbers than that.
Yeah,
might be hard to find.
You know, and on that, you know, you definitely have to give it up to the Doughboys for clearing the way for him on these games.
His brother in front.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I wasn't at the game last week, but I got to see quite a bit of it because I was watching it on my phone. But one thing I noticed was with Trey was the way he was. And we talked about this a little bit before the show. Just the way he was seeing the field.
Yeah.
Friday night, he saw the lanes. He hopped into them quick and got out of them quick. You know, he
got into the open fields.
Yeah, and then hit that next gear and just it was.
He's the rare combination of speed and power and vision.
Yeah,
you know, not all running backs have all 3 of those. Not many of them, frankly, have all 3 of those. Those that do usually end up in the NFL.
Yeah, they do.
All right, here's Cecil now with the scores from the general Austin area. All of these first-round playoff games.
All of them first-round playoff games because we are in gold ball season. Here we go. Dripping Springs, Best Vista Ridge, 38-14.
Yep, that was the night before we played. That was a Thursday night game.
Thursday
down
night
in
game,
Springs, yeah.
Yep. Liberty Hill really put it on San Antonio Lanier, 62-0.
Find it interesting that San Antonio Lanier is the Vokes, V-O-K-S. I was at Austin Lanier. We're the Vikings, and our nickname was the Vikes, V-I-K-S.
What's a Voke? They're
a vocational school.
Oh, okay. I get it.
They didn't use a C. They used a K.
Gotcha. Eagle Pass loses to San Marcos 42-10. I'm sorry. Harker Heights over Cedar Hill 28-14. Jarrell, they put up 66 to win over Divine, who only scored 28.
And Divine they've got one of the best mascots. We have to do our mascot game next year. I got to update it.
I don't know the Divine mascot.
They're the Divine War Horses.
Oh, nice.
I mean, that sounds like an adjective, doesn't it?
That's pretty sweet. I like that. I like that one. Round Rock falls to Lake Travis, 41-14. Vandegrift squeaks one out. Beats Westlake 16-14. That's surprising there. That is surprising.
I think that was like a last play field goal.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was a walk-off field goal. Sure thing. That kicker they have. That kicker they have is pretty dang good.
He is.
Bastrop blank San Antonio Burbank 62-0. New Braunfels Canyon 63. Taylor 19. Ducks are out.
Quack, quack.
LBJ.
Aflac.
LBJ wins against Fredericksburg 37-15.
The Battling Billies.
Hutto is they're on a little roll right now.
Yeah.
Looking like they're in a groove. They beat Austin Bowie 35-28. Anderson just beats Friendswood 35-34.
And Anderson was a 1 seed. They got to host Friendswood, a 4 seed from the Houston area, who was only 5-5. And this game being close, I think, is illustrative of what I was saying last week. I haven't believed in Anderson all year. I know they're 10-1 or something, but they're in that Austin district where we see their scores every week. Everybody they play, they lose 63-0.
Yeah.
And so Anderson had all of those people on their schedule. I don't think that proves much.
No, huh? And I mean, it's just going to get tougher as you go into the playoffs.
Yeah,
and teams get way better. Other 8-5A teams in action. Georgetown took on Burleson Centennial at that game was at the Birkelback, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it was a nice little home game for them. They win 42-11. Midlothian faced Eastview and won that game 36-16. So Eastview's out. Highland Park beat Lake Belton 56-13. So Eastview and Lake Belton are out of the playoffs now.
All right, so here are the remaining playoff games this week for 8-5A teams. Only 2 of us left alive, the 1 and 2 seeds, us and Georgetown. Cedar Park, of course, will play Frisco Wakeland, who's 10-1. Georgetown's going to play Burleson Centennial, who's only 4-7. Georgetown, our 2 seed, probably has a better chance to advance to the 3rd round than we do.
They played Burleson Centennial last year.
You're right. They played last week. That's a field. That field is not updated. So never mind. They play somebody else. But I know that team's record is 4-7. It was an upset win in the first round. I just didn't type the new team in there, so I got that wrong. So Eastview finished 7-4 with their only win over a team with a winning record coming over us. Lake Belton finished 6-5. This is the part where we normally have the Willard of Oz with a rant and a little bit of stupid is as stupid does. Instead, we're going to go ahead and take our break, probably the only break we'll take tonight without the basketball team being here. We'll be back in a few minutes with more here on Timberwolf Night in America.
Introducing Kyle Foppe and broker Topher Rogers, your Move Smart Pros real estate team. Kyle and Topher are Cedar Park residents and local real estate experts. Move Smart helps neighbors get the most from the sale of their home through a smooth transition and help home buyers find their next home at the right price. More than just helping you buy or sell, they help you make smart real estate decisions to achieve your short and long-term goals. Look them up online at MoveSmartPros.com.
Welcome to Taco Palenque, where the magic happens at this very moment. And especially for you. We know fresh food simply tastes better. That's why we start cooking your meal at the exact moment you place your order. For us, your order is not just another number. It's as unique and special as you are. Enjoy your meal. Taco Palenque, food in real time.
Lindsay Bates has been sharing Cincy in Cedar Park for the past 19 years, connecting with so many of you and filling your lives and homes with fragrance. If it's been a while since you've used Cincy, or if this is your first time hearing about it, Lindsay is ready to help scent your home, car, office, gym bag, and more. Cincy makes it easy to fill every space with scent you'll love. Create moments, spark memories, and turn your house into a home that welcomes everyone in. Cincy with Lindsay Bates, filling homes with fragrance, memories, and Timberwolf pride. Discover your favorite fragrance today at ilovewickless.com. That's ilovewickless.com. Filling your life with fragrance, one scent at a time.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
This is a song that I hope we hear several times Friday night.
It's always nice when you hear it more than once.
More than once and a quarter. How about that? Yeah, 2 times a quarter.
2 times a quarter? Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take that. Once, twice,
2 times a quarter. Another great jam.
You know, we haven't sung any songs recently.
We're
gonna squeeze one of those in.
Yeah, man. We have a new batch of listeners, so they may not be familiar with that.
Oh my. Brad Boschel just found out the offer list for Trey, according to 24/7 Sports, prior to these greatest numbers. Air Force, guess what? I told him this the other night. He's not going to have to settle for Air Force. Fordham, Houston, the Cougars, Lamar, New Mexico State, Texas State, UTEP, and UTSA. He might be going higher than that.
Yeah, he may be.
It's great to be getting some free education anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, good for him.
Football standpoint,
get it, kid.
He might be able to do better than any of those programs. All right, another Cedar Park sports news. Volleyball team won their state semifinals Saturday night against Friendswood 3-0. That puts them right back where they'd aimed to be in the state championship round for the second straight year. Last year they fell to Frisco Wakeland.
Oh, how about
Same
that?
school we're playing in football this week. This Saturday they play Argyle, home of the Sox, at 1 o'clock in Garland. It'll be their 51st match of the season. They are 38-12, not a great record, but they've played a very tough schedule, loaded with high-quality 6A opponents, and they have right now won 19 in a row. They have not lost since September 5th. Win or lose in that title match, I'm going to try to get some of them on this show next week.
Right on. Good luck, girls.
The men's basketball team had their season opener last night at 6A Westwood. I said Wetwood in my screen here. And won 60-58 starting out their season 1-0. They next face Pflugerville in their home opener in the Timberdome Friday night. Unfortunately, I'll be up in Waco at the football game and won't be able to announce that one for them. We'll say this again. We'll definitely have an episode of this show during the week of each game the football team plays this year, but of course we don't yet know how many that will turn out to be. The final show will be early in the week after the last game they play, wrapping up the season. So if they fall Friday night, our final show will be next Wednesday night. Guests for these playoff shows will be outside the football program, as you've learned so far, such as the women's hoopsters scheduled for tonight and perhaps the volleyball team next week. I'm thinking that if we still have a show 2 weeks from tonight, I might invite the state championship women's soccer team. And if we go farther than that, I might invite the band.
Yeah. Oh,
two state champs in a row?
Yeah, heck
maybe
yeah.
3 if volleyball wins.
That's a lot of people
Yeah.
on the band.
Well, we've done that before. And usually it's the band leader and his like 3 or 4 drum majors.
Yeah.
So we have come on. Did that when we were across the road over there at Mouton's a few years ago. And as you might have suspected, now that my basketball announcing duties have kicked in every Tuesday night for either Cedar Park or Concordia, yes, all our Timberwolf Night in America shows will be on Wednesdays for the rest of the season. Now Cecil with his weekly report on how our notable former players and coaches' current teams fared last week and who their second-round playoff opponents will be.
All right. Lifetime Timberwolf and former Baylor Bear and current brother to Josh Willard, Brad Willard, is the head coach at Liberty Ilo. They fell to Malakoff 28-13, ending their season at 5-6. So Brad's gone fishing.
Maybe we can get him to come home and be on our show.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Former head coach Chris Ross is the current offensive coordinator and assistant head coach at Stephen F. Austin State University. Saturday they beat Lamar 26-15 and have not lost since September 6th. They won all 9 games in a row and sit at 9-2 overall, 7-0 in the Southland Conference, all alone in first place with 1 game to play. They next face Northwestern State in the regular season closer on Saturday.
You know what? I ought to send Trey's numbers and a glowing synopsis of his career here to Chris Ross.
Chris Ross, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get him on his radar.
Yeah.
If he's not already. Former O-line coach Brandon Schmidt is at A&M Consolidated. They beat former Cedar Park head coach Joe Willis's Crosby team last week, 29-28, knocking them out and going 9-2 overall. Tigers next play 11-0 Port Arthur.
That's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be
Brandon,
a tough game.
But Consolidated is darn good.
Tyler Moore is a former Cedar Park's quarterback and is now the head coach at 7th-ranked Prosper. Last week, the Prosper Eagles beat Hebron 66-39 in the first round and now face 8-3 Richardson Berkner.
I think Tyler's going to take that Prosper team a long way.
Where's Richardson Berkner?
Richardson is in the Dallas area. It's a Dallas suburb.
Okay. I hear a new Dallas suburb like every time I turn around.
I know. The population of just the North Dallas suburbs, I read, is like 1.4 million people.
Jeez.
Just the North Dallas suburbs.
Another former quarterbacks coach at Cedar Park is Nick Rogers. He's now the head coach at San Antonio Piper. The Piper Warriors upset 9-1 San Antonio J by a score of 33-14 in the first round, and next play 10-1 Corpus Christi Flower Bluff.
Now, historically, when we were in Region 4, the teams from Corpus, whoever wins that league always comes out there with that kind of a record, 10-1, 11-0.
But the competition's not that great.
I know. The competition's not good, and they're always undersized.
Yeah.
We always just kind of crapped on them.
Yeah.
And I think Nick's team's got a good chance to win that game.
And our guy Carl Absek, who lasted 2 state title games and won it in 2015, now leads the Lufkin Panthers. They beat Spring Westbury 35-10 last week. Lufkin is now 8-3 overall and will face a 9-2 team from Pflugerville Weiss, a really good team. And they got a couple really great kids on there. One of them, linebacker Henderson, he just got offered by Ohio State.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl, Pflugerville Weiss, he's going to foam at the mouth to win this game. That's one of the very, very few teams on his resume that he's never beaten. He's 0-1 against them.
Oh, really?
We lost the one time we played him in 17 or 18, somewhere like that. So he's gonna be
You're gonna
hungry
want
to
that one for
beat
sure.
the Weiss Wolves. Yeah.
Where will they play that game?
I don't know. I should have found that out for these. I don't know where these games are. It's interesting that all of our former coaches and players' teams made the playoffs. Only 2 of them, Joe Willis and Brad Willard, lost in the first round. Counting our current coach, Michael Quintero, 6 of them still going. Good to be a lifetime Timberwolf.
And an honorary Timberwolf.
Yeah.
In my case.
Yeah. Now, in this spot over the last few weeks, I've given you some words for contemplation of former coaches and players that we've tragically lost. Also, a nostalgic look at the football voyages of our seniors. Then a couple weeks ago, some fun stories about a frightening human being that was my high school football coach. This week, being just past Veterans Day, I've got a short story to tell about some of the men I knew who risked it all in the service of their country. I was intending to give this last week, and we ran a little long, and I cut it out. So we're going to do it this week since we've got more time to fill with our guests not showing up. I grew up in the Air Force. Or rather, I grew up with my dad in the Air Force. We Air Force families took quite a bit of pride in the fact that our dads did what they did for a living. Most of us were pretty cocky about it, actually. Our men served so that all those mere civilians out there could go on with their everyday lives, likely oblivious to the fact that the very reason they enjoyed more freedom and liberty and economic vitality than any human society in history was that men like our dads were out there on democracy's outer wall all day, all night, in every sort of weather, walking it with loaded guns. Along about 1967, it finally dawned on me what the nature of this whole Air Force enterprise was, at least from the family, personal perspective. We were all just waiting for the phone call. From one point of view, the chances of avoiding this call appeared dicey at best. Statistics at the time said that every Air Force flyer experienced a 33% probability of facing at least one in-flight emergency that compelled them to eject during the first 10 years of flying high-performance jet aircraft. Well, Dad had begun his journey in '57, so those first 10 years, and perhaps his number, were already up. The same statistics also said that just under 25% of the men who'd ever ejected from a B-58 had died trying. Combining those ratios together, this meant that our dad faced a 1 in 12 possibility of paying for the exhilaration of flying B-58s with his very life. These numbers manifested themselves in the fact that by the time I was 9 years old, I'd already experienced, if only on the extreme periphery, the untimely mortal demise of far too many of my friends' fathers. Very late in the afternoon on June 14th, 1967, my mom and 3 of her squadron friends, Cherie Mullaney, Betty Bennett, LaTanya Jefferson, and Barb French, that's 4 of them, right? I said 3, all of whom lived in duplexes next to each other directly behind us in base housing, were sitting together in lawn chairs on our back patio, enjoying a tab or a Fresca, perhaps a bag of Bugles. Remember all those? Maybe you all don't. You're probably not as old as me. Facing the swing sets in the communal backyard, chattering away as their sons and daughters, us, all played together on the equipment. Across the way, between the houses of the Frenches and the Bennetts, a dark blue Air Force sedan pulled to the curb in the pale orange sherbet light of early evening. 3 blue-suited officers in campaign hats climbed out, casting long slate shadows slicing through the soft evening light. They noticed the women on our porch and began moving slowly but deliberately across the backyard commons towards the 5 wives on our patio. All conversation immediately ceased. The women all knew exactly what this was. No one looked at any of the others. All eyes were fastened on the 3 somber faces coming slowly toward them through the grass, now passing directly next to some unlucky child or children on the swings or slides, whose lives they would, within the next 60 seconds, change forever. Each woman was certain that all 6 official eyes were locked on hers. Each was certain her world was about to end. With the clack of the polished black shoes on our concrete patio, the evil truth had arrived. As the men slowly approached the chairs, the one in front said, "Betty," and Mom's life stopped. So here it was, the bargain with the devil. The one each and every pilot in those quiet moments before sleep promised his wife 100 times was inconsequential, swearing the fearsome averages applied only to those with merely average stuff, giving a solemn oath that he would never let it happen to him. That deal was indeed coming due. At this horrifying moment, all of the rest of her life swung ponderously but firmly in a completely different direction ahead of her, as would a heavy steel gate hanging from its hinge. "Betty," the solemn officer said, and then he knelt next to the chair of Betty Bennett. "Let's go into the house." Mom experienced waves of sorrow, elation, and guilt at the same instant. It was Betty Bennett, not Betty Cohn, whose mortgaged future was being called in. Mom composed herself enough to make the first actual response. Sitting next to a stunned Betty Bennett, she laid a hand on her clammy forearm and said, "Betty, I've got the boys," meaning she'd watched the two Bennett sons. Betty looked at her, gave a quick nod, said nothing, and rose from the chair to accompany the men back in the direction they came from and into her house, a dead woman walking, forced to face her sudden and lonesome fate. Captain William R. Bennett, the father of one of our favorite playmates, Larry Bennett, was a bombardier navigator aboard a B-58 that had experienced a flight-terminating emergency 45,000 feet over the Texas Panhandle that afternoon near Darazet up in Lipscomb County. Years later, some research showed that apparently the pilot had given the bailout order, but Bill told his crewmates to go ahead and get out, that he had some things he had to finish before being able to eject. He never did. From 9 miles up, Bill Bennett rode that B-58 all the way into the ground in an impact calculated at just 10 degrees off vertical and 650 miles an hour, leaving a small crater just off to the side of Highway 15 that remains to this very day. His pulverized remains were immediately disintegrated. There was literally nothing left to bury. I remember being pulled aside early that evening and being told by Mom that Larry and his little brother didn't yet know this had happened, that they were staying at our house for a few hours and for supper that evening while her mother began to cope with this awful news. It was the first major secret with which I had ever been entrusted, and I wondered how I could pull it off. I recalled the burning place in the front of my mind each time I talked with Larry that evening, with him so carefree, talking about what show to watch on TV or what toy to play with out of my closet, and the one terrible moment when he told me that he and his dad were going fishing the next day, with Larry not knowing that just a few hours before his father had ceased to exist. I couldn't have been good company, but I kept that secret. I fought off thoughts that this could just as easily have happened to me as it had to Larry. Several days later, I remember some people gathered in front of the Bennett's house as Betty, Larry, and the youngest son, Todd, finished packing belongings into a bronze-colored station wagon, said their goodbyes to a few of us neighbors in attendance, and slowly drove away. I remember seeing Larry quickly climbing over the edge of the back seat, moving to the far back window, and staring out at us from there, a blank look of aimless confusion molded onto his young face as he watched his world fading away behind him. I have often wondered what Larry Bennett's future turned out to be. In April of '68, Major Donald Close, the father of my good friend Joe Close, my close friend, experienced some sort of massive malfunction during takeoff in his B-58, and he and his crew slammed it back into the ground right there at the base, their bodies minced in the impact and incinerated in the fireball, smoke from which was visible to Joe and me as we were walking home together from school that day. I remember we remarked upon that black crowd with some trepidation, as we each knew it was a son's curse to know that such a fiery fate might eventually await either of our dads. But on that particular day, it would be Joe who lost life's lottery. In '69, Vic Mayer, husband of Marge Mayer, one of Mom's best friends, was forced to eject from his B-58 at high speed and low level over rural Illinois at night. But Vic landed on the right side of the odds and survived to fly with the Air Force for another 10 years. He lives in South Austin today. Looking back on these incidents, the sheer horror they should have brought and did bring to the wives and other adults and the families of Air Force men seems absent in my childhood recollections. In its place, though, I sense a sort of quiet dread, a nervous anxiety. I'm not sure if a young boy just couldn't feel such sorrow, horror, and fear yet, or that he did, but this adult version I'm encased within has walled off the memories. So every Memorial Day, every Veterans Day, I spent a few moments thinking about the men I knew of who gave that last full measure of devotion, and about their children, friends of mine who, for some reason known but to God, were far less lucky than me. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we don't have our guest, but we're going to do a few more things, so stick around. This is Timberwolf Night in America, live from Taco Palenque here in the heart of Cedar Park, right here on the Vype Live Network.
Life moves fast, but the memories are worth keeping forever. Whether it's your high school senior getting ready to graduate or your family gathering together for the holidays, now is the perfect time to capture those moments. Lindsay Bates is one of our talented photographers who volunteers to capture the Cedar Park football team's games each week and has a blast doing it. She brings that same passion and care to every senior and family photo session. With Lindsay Bates, every session is fun, relaxed, and all about you. From stunning senior portraits to timeless family photos, you'll have images that you'll treasure for a lifetime. Book your session today, and let's create memories you'll be proud to share. Hang on your walls and pass down for generations. Text Lindsay at 512-826-5352.
Welcome to Taco Palenque, where the magic happens at this very moment. And especially for you. We know fresh food simply tastes better. That's why we start cooking your meal at the exact moment you place your order. For us, your order is not just another number. It's as unique and special as you are. Enjoy your meal. Taco Palenque, food in real time.
Introducing Kyle Foppe and broker Topher Rogers, your MoveSmart Pros real estate team. Kyle and Topher are Cedar Park residents and local real estate experts. MoveSmart helps neighbors get the most from the sale of their home through a smooth transition and help home buyers find their next home at the right price. More than just helping you buy or sell, they help you make smart real estate decisions to achieve your short and long-term goals. Look them up online at MoveSmartPros.com.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
I like to go down with a kazoo and play Metal Shop with the band. That's another tradition that Cedar Park started. So many we spot. We're the first ones to have the band come over post halftime before the third quarter,
Get in front of
gather
the
in front of the students and play Metal Shop.
Yeah.
Now, half the places we go on the road, I see their bands doing it too.
Yeah.
We're the first ones to do it.
Trendsetters.
We are in so many things. We're the first one to have the promenade walk. I've seen a couple teams do that this year. We're the first high school team around here anyway to have the all-black uniforms in the year 2000. Finally, I saw Bowie have one in 2003, and then suddenly everybody's getting them. We have set all sorts of trends. All right, welcome back. Episode 13, Timberwolf Night in America 25. Live from Taco Palenque here in the middle of American suburbia. It's Brad and Cecil dealing the cards. Shane Sholwinski, our QA, here on the Vype Live Network. We've been having a great time talking to ourselves because the Cedar Park women's basketball team didn't show up. But now it's trivia time. Normally we'd divide the basketball team, if they were here, up into a couple of teams to play against each other trivia. But Craig Weems and Brad Boschelt are here. What have they got in common besides being two of our greatest fans? They're both former Round Rock ISD teachers, and they are going to team off against each other individually, playing the trivia game, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. First, I'm going to give them a chance to tell you a little bit about who they are and why they're two of Cedar Park's greatest football fans. And go ahead, Brad.
Hey, my name is Brad Boschelt. I've been doing this spotting gig up in the booth at home games at Gupton with Brad Cohn for 10 years now. Got into it when I was teaching at McNeil High School, and football fan, of course. But Brad needed a spotter, and Cedar Park High School happened to be playing McNeil one rainy night, as it turned out. We had pretty much an all-star on our team who ended up going to UT at McNeil. We that was the first game I ever did with Brad, watching through the binoculars, calling out the numbers. It was mostly fun, an introduction. But it was also a fun time. That was Old Bible, if I remember.
Yeah, Old Bible.
Yeah.
That rickety old press box.
The rain would come, and the rain would go.
Which means you've been doing it for a lot longer than 10 years.
Yeah.
That would be 16 years.
Well, see, I didn't start my string at Gupton until 10 years ago. That was about 4 years before that. But at one point during the deluge of rain, where you couldn't even see the field, Brad gets on the PA over the mic and says, we're having another Eurythmics moment here. And he just let that moment hang. And about 3 or 4 seconds, people in the crowd kind of started to get that little saying, and they looked up and gave some nods. It was a pretty cool moment. I knew right then, hey, this could be pretty fun. So
I don't think I've had another spotter since.
That was cool. So
anyway, I used to farm that out with 3 or 4 guys a year.
Yeah. So that's I've been doing that. I've become a Cedar Park fan, and I've always been a football fan and fan of many sports. So it was kind of a fun thing, way to see football on Friday night.
Yeah, glad he's aboard. And Brad and Craig both have come to just about every Timberwolf night in America the last few years too. And now here's Craig Weems.
Oh, I'm Craig Weems, and also was at the 2001 was my first game ever.
Wow. Quentin was a senior, yeah.
Yeah. And
you're one of the few people, when I talk about Quentin Smith right here, you're one of the few people know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Waller and watched the first and only, our first playoff team game we ever had.
Yeah.
It was great. And but all the years I've loved the senior, going to to watch the football teams, and have watched a lot of teams, several coaches, and it's been great to be here.
You're a good friend of Carl Absack, one of our best coaches ever, because he and you are both on the Cedar Park faculty teaching economics at the same time, right?
We were. He was my next door neighbor, and we usually had lunch. He would bring his lunch in and sit down at the table, and we'd both have lunch together.
That's great.
And it was super. I really liked his whole family. And gosh, the first time he ever came down from Wichita Falls, Gunner was just a little boy, and they had a Carly. Just born. So
now she just graduated high school. Gunner's a coach at University of Texas Permian Basin. Where does time go?
Yeah.
So Craig Weems and Brad Bosa are going to tee off against each other in our trivia game, and here it is. It's called East or West. There are 2 categories you can choose from for each direction, high schools or towns. All the high schools we'll list are from the general Austin, Central Texas area. The towns could be quite a bit farther away, and for that reason, guessing a school correctly is worth 1 point, because it's probably easier. Guessing a town correctly, worth 2 points, and you can choose which one you want me to give you, a town or a school. And there will be 2 chances at super points. 2 of the locations I name, either as a school or a town, will be imaginary places I just made up. If you correctly call one of those, that's not real, you made that one up, you get 3 points if you correctly call the made-up ones. There'll only be 2 of those hidden in there as bombs. Now, I won't call the names of towns that are on both sides of I-35 like Kyle or Salado, because there's no way to really, you're not wrong or right when you say east or west of there. So there are places that really are truly west of or truly east of I-35. Okay, so we'll have Brad as the youngest go first, and we'll do this. Do you want me to give you a school or a town?
Let's go town.
A town. All right. All right, here we go. Sattler, Sattler. East or west of I-35 with that town? Sattler, Texas.
East.
It is west. No score for Boschelt in inning number 1. I got the little scoreboard here, Cecil. I'll do that.
All right.
All right, bottom of the first. All right, do you want a town or a school?
A town.
You want a town? Okay. Let's see. Oh, let me mark that one he just called so that we don't get to that. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Bruceville, Eddie.
Bruceville Eddy is to the east.
Wrong. It's to the west. So nothing at the end of the first. All right, back to Boschel, top of the second. We'll play 7 innings. All right, you want a school or a town?
Let's go town again.
Town again. All right. Schwertner. Schwertner. In German, that would be Schwertner.
That's east.
That is east.
All right.
And a town is 2 points. So 2-0 Boschel. We go to the bottom of the second. Weems. All right, you want a town or a school?
Town again.
A town. All right. Donner's Gap.
Oh, boy.
Donner's Gap, Texas.
I'd strictly a guess would be west.
Incorrect guess. I made that one up.
Oh.
You missed out on 3 points.
I did.
Okay, let me mark that down here, too.
It's a good one. That actually sounds like a name.
I know.
That sounds legit.
All right. Boschel is up now in the top of the third, leading 2-0. And what do you want, Brad?
Town.
A town. Martindale. Martindale, Texas. I know somebody who's from this town. So maybe
I've heard of this one, too. Let's see.
Martindale, Texas, east or west? A town. Surprised nobody's picked
East.
schools yet. East is correct. Another 2 points for Boschel. Takes a 4-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the third. Weems is up. You want a town or a school?
I'm staying with that.
Yeah,
town.
you need the points now. All right. Let's see. Do you want one that's east or one that's west? Okay.
Yes.
A town. Let's see. Topsy. Topsey.
Topsy. Oh, boy. Never even heard of that. I'm going to go with Topsy.
You are going with Topsy. Is it west or east?
Okay, how about east?
No, it's west.
Oh, man.
I didn't have that one either, Craig.
It's right next to Turvey. Okay, Boschel leading 4-0, top of the fourth, at the plate. Do you want school or town?
Town again.
Town again. Little River. Little River, Texas. They got a band.
They also got a heck of a little drag strip. Little River Academy. It's
Yeah.
east.
That is east. Boschel knows his stuff. Another 2 points. Okay, Craig, bottom of the fourth. What do you want?
I'm going to stick with the town.
Okay. How about Florence? Florence, Texas.
Is west.
Florence, home of the Fighting Hendersons. You say west? West is correct. 2 points for Craig Wayne.
On the board.
Chipped into the lead a little bit. Now to the top of the fifth. 3 at-bats left for both teams. Boschel, what do you want?
Town.
Town. Creedmoor. Creedmoor. Creedmoor, Texas. I wonder how the girls' basketball team would have done. They probably would have been picking schools, I bet.
The only thing that's coming to mind is a really nice rifle. Let's go west.
It is east.
East.
Okay.
First inning in 4 where Boschel hadn't guessed it right.
And I'm going to go with the town again.
A town again? Nolanville. Nolanville. Nolanville.
I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think you make it up.
Now, that one's actually real. That's up kind of in the Killeen area, so west. All right, Boschel, what do you want?
Town.
Town. Okay. Oh, I didn't mark Creedmoor as being used. Let me do that real quick. All right, Zorn, like Jim Zorn. Zorn. Zorn, Texas. I wonder if they're the Seahawks.
I've been through there one time, I think.
I've been
seen
through
it.
there one
I've seen
time.
it some. I can't remember for the life of me where it is though.
You can see it on a sign.
It's I think it's either east or west of I-35.
You're right. You're right. It's either north or south
North or
of
south of Boston,
I-35.
probably east or west of 35, I'm thinking.
Zorn, Texas. What do you think?
I'm going west.
It is East.
Darn.
East.
Shut out 2 innings in a row, but still leading 6-2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Craig Weems to the plate. Towner School.
Wait a minute, town again.
Town. Buda.
Buda.
With so many unlocals who move here called
It's
Buda.
on the east.
No, Buda's in the
I'm
west.
sorry.
All right, top of the 7th, leading 6-2. What do you want, Boschel?
Let's just go over this fact.
School, all right. Look for a hard one. I don't think any of them are hard.
You forget who you're talking to.
Travis Rebels in Austin. East or west?
Got to be west.
It is west by a few feet. It's right on the frontage road of I-35 in the south. So that's 1 point for Brad. All right. Weems.
I'm going with a town again.
A town. Harker Heights.
Harker Heights would
So you know I'm not making that one up.
west.
It is west. All right. So he gets a point or 2 points for that. And we're going to go an extra inning because it's so much fun and we got plenty of time. All right. What do you got, Bosch, or what do you want?
Oh, well, let's go town.
Town. Wahlberg.
Home of the great sausage and great little German restaurant.
And the boy band members.
Burgers.
That's going to be east.
It is going to be east.
Matter
2
of fact,
points.
you go 40 miles north of Wahlberg, you get to Little River.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Craig, what do you want? City, town,
I'm going
or school?
I need the town.
Need a town, all right? St. Egregious. Is that east or west of I-35?
I'm going to go. You're making up.
It is made up. You hit the only 3-pointer at the buzzer. Final score, he ekes it out, though, 9-7.
Oh, nice. This is a nice little comeback, though.
Yeah, I like that. Fun game. All right, let me see. Let's get back to business here. I like playing the trivia games. It's really fun playing with the kids. It's kind of surprising what they do and don't know sometimes. You know, they'll stumble on questions you thought sure they would know, and then they pull the right answer out on stuff that you thought would be a little harder than that.
I think most of it is educational for the kids when it comes down to it.
Yeah, probably so. Got to figure out what we're going to do for we get the state champ soccer team next week, or volleyball. Maybe they'll be state champs too. Hope we have 2 shows. We can do them both. All right, now preview of Friday night's area round state playoff game at Waco Midway against the Frisco Wakeland Wolverines. Cecil's favorite mascot.
Ugh.
Wakeland beat 6-5 Carrollton Newman Smith in the first round, 28-12. They're 10-1 on the season. Their only loss to undefeated Frisco. Lone Star, the program we beat in the 2015 state championship game. However, a closer look into their list of opponents reveals a startlingly weak schedule. They've played only 2 teams with a winning record and lost to one of them. Besides Lone Star, their only opponent with a winning record was Frisco Reedy, currently 8-3 and still alive. The cumulative record for the 10 teams the Wolverines have beaten is 31-65. The most impressive aspect of their record this year has been that their defense has allowed 14 points or fewer 7 times. That's worrisome. But again, look at those opponents. Still, we may finally see a defense that can stop Cedar Park, or at least slow them down, and this makes it all the more imperative that we bring a defense to this game. The Black Rain has to show up. Unlike most of our games this year, when getting 3 stops is going to be enough for a win, we're going to need maybe 7 defensive stops Friday night. This means a pass rush. We've only had 9 sacks all year. Coverage of receivers who roam through that usually empty middle part of the secondary. And, most importantly, I think, no missed tackles. Wakeland quarterback Jaden Maples has similar numbers to Tyler quarterback Caden Granberry from last week. Maples has completed 66% of his passes for 2,358 yards, 27 touchdowns, only 3 picks, resulting in a QBR fully 12 points higher than our own David Cooper's, whose isn't bad. They've got a 1,000-yard rusher in Cole Braxton with 1,032 yards on a 5.8 average with 9 touchdowns. For our offense, which has had such a great season, one of our greatest, we will need to continue having 0 turnovers, few penalties, very few incomplete passes, and obviously Trey Hill needs to rattle and hum for another 200-plus yards. You know, we had 4 turnovers in that first loss against Harker Heights, who won their district, still alive in 6A. We've only had 5 turnovers in the 10 games since.
Oh, wow.
Just amazing. Yeah, and still no kickoff touchdown returns. Now, Wakeland averages 376 yards and 31.4 points a game. We usually pass those totals by the end of the third quarter, so those aren't terribly impressive, especially against a weak schedule, so that kind of makes me like our chances a little better. They allow, though, just 13.4, the lowest we have seen of any team we played this year. That's tough. But 3 of their wins have been by just 1 score, all of those over teams with losing records. They beat 1-9 Grapevine, just 29-28. So there are some holes in their game. We've got to find them and drive through them. Winner of this game will advance to the Region 2 semifinals against the winner between Lone Star and Reedy, 2 teams from Wakeland's district that they played. What do you think?
Well, look, in playoff season, the name of the game is to survive.
Yeah.
Win, survive, move on,
yeah.
Right? So, you know, games can be ugly. They can be ugly. You just got to get the job done. Whatever it takes to get the job done within the confines of the game, of course.
And the rules.
and you know, I just want to just meter that a little bit and think, you know, these big yardage things may not be there in these games coming up. You know, it's going to get tougher as we go down the roads. You know. There, like you said, there may be a team where that is really able to slow down Trey in this offense, and we're gonna have to find a different way. Now is when we got to reach down deep inside, and find the gumption, for lack of a better term, just to get the job done. You know, so I'm everybody on that field, you know, they gotta find that next gear to grind through this and just have a one play, one game at a mind mentality. So to you know, just get through this one. And you can't take any of these teams for granted.
Yeah.
Not a single one of these teams can you take for granted. I mean, the team that we played on Friday didn't have a great record.
4-7 at the end of the season. Almost beat us.
Gave us all we can handle. You know, so you got to respect your opponent, but also just go out there with confidence in yourself, know what you can do, and execute it.
Yeah, I think the offensive line is going to be so important here. That Trey Hill, I mean, if they can't get people out of the way at the line and he runs into just walls, it's going to be hard for him to do anything.
Right.
If they're scot-free, if they're shedding their blockers and standing there waiting for him.
Yeah, that's going to shut down play action too.
If he can get through the line, maybe 2 steps, all bets are off if anybody can catch him.
Yeah.
Just after 2 steps through the line.
Right.
So they've got to make those holes.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, any last words before we close this show down?
Oh, no, good stuff. Thanks, Mr. Weems and Bolschelt for joining us on here tonight, last minute. That was enjoyable. Really appreciate it.
Any last words from Craig or Brad?
Go Timberwolves.
There you go. Brad?
Yeah, like Cecil said, just got to bring it. Got to get that W.
Maybe we can do that. All right, so we'll see you in Waco Friday night for the 7 p.m. kick, and if you can't make it, watch the video cast. Remember, because of the UIL's insistence, it's pay-per-view in the playoffs. Josh will have the play-by-play, Cecil with technical production, camera work, and commentary, and I'll be along for stats and additional commentary. Once again, here are the Booster Club sponsors this season: Taco Palenque, Move Smart Pros, Raising Cane's, Army and Moving, U-Pack We Plan, Leander Veterinary Clinic, Natalie's Donuts, Clint Horman's All City Real Estate, Smooth Operator, RN, Strive Health Services, Tex US Realty, Bush's Chicken, Dr. Mo the Chiropractic Wellness Center, CPYFA, CTX Sports, Glow Gal Salon, Sensi Independent Consultant Lindsay Bates. That's it for our 13th, lucky 13th episode. That's why they didn't show, of Timberwolf Night in America for 2025. Thanks to our guests tonight, our 2 greatest fans, Brad and Craig. Tune in next week when Josh and Cecil and I may be hosting the volleyball team and their new head coach, Lori McLaughlin. For our QA, Shane Shulwinski, and for my crewmates Josh Willard in absentia and Cecil Kokenauer, Brad Cohn here signing off. You've been listening to Timberwolf Night in America on the Vype Network.